Sahara.
Now, if your 7th house lord of D1 is in the 12th house of D9, then okay, this placement is about your life after marriage. Will you be lonely? Will you be happy? Will you be secretive? So it depends on your 7th house lord. If your 7th house lord is Sun, then you will get a spouse who will stop your ego, who will control you. He's a bit dominant though. He will try to control you. He is emotional internally. He don't really show it. He's quite secretive about his emotions. He's spiritual. He believes in spiritual things. He's very balanced type of person. You guys will have a romantic life. If your 7th house lord is Moon, then you will get a spouse who loves to be alone, or maybe you loves to be alone. With this placement, you love to be alone. You love to detach from people. You love your own space. Maybe you guys both are like that. You don't really talk much, but you guys have a soul connection. Your spouse is quite emotional, maybe because you love your own space, so your spouse, he's always sad about it, and sometimes he's emotionally unavailable, but he is very caring about you. He understands you emotionally, and he is very supportive and nurturing. If your 7th house lord is Venus, then your spouse is gonna be someone who is very romantic. And this is a placement of love marriage. For example, if you hate a person, then your spouse is gonna hate that person too. Very supportive towards each other. Sometimes when people, when we have a best friend, or maybe we have a lover, and then that person, like, we hate someone, and we tell them that, and they don't do the same thing. They became friends with that person, so we feel like he's backstabbing us, right? So you're not gonna get that. Your spouse is very supportive of you. If you hate someone, he will hate that person for no fucking reason as well. Now, if your 7th house lord is Mercury, then you will get a spouse. Maybe you guys will have a foreign settlement. It's that you guys maybe have no time to communicate with each other. Maybe your spouse live in another country. Maybe he is a navy or something like that. It's like a long distance relationship. Sometimes you feel lost, but you still have a spouse. Now, if your 7th house lord is Mars, then your spouse is gonna be someone with anger issues. Sometimes you guys will have a lot of arguments. Maybe there's an issues between you guys before you get married. Maybe your parents wouldn't allow you to get married with this person, or you guys personally have issues before marriage. Your spouse is courageous. It's like a warrior. Maybe he's gonna work abroad. Maybe he came from a foreign land. It's a long distance relationship and all that. Now, if your 7th house lord is Jupiter, then your spouse is gonna be very, very wise and religious. Jupiter, it's always about spirituality and religious, and your spouse understands you very much, and he's the type of person who is very soft spoken. He has an interest in spirituality, in the things that we can't see with our own eyes, and you will get a good relationship with your spouse, with your spouse's family, with your family, and this is also like a distant relationship. Now, if your 7th house lord is Saturn, then your spouse is gonna be someone who will protect you. You guys are not emotionally attached, but your spouse care about you. He loves you so much. It's gonna be a long lasting marriage. Your spouse will gain a lot of savings after marriage. Maybe you will gain a lot of savings and you will gain a lot of incomes after marriage, and then your spouse is very philosophical. Maybe you will be wise and quite philosophical after marriage,